is used by Guinness. 80% is malted, 10% is unmalted, 10% is roasted barley. So that goes to the mill, and we crush it down into really fine powder. It's called milled barley at this stage, or grist, G-R-I-S-T. You can see it there. So it comes along the grist elevator, and all the milled barley then is kept in the storage house. Then we keep them here until we're ready to start the brew. So when we're ready, we release the barley into the mash vessel. This is where the brew really begins. This is where we add the second ingredient in Guinness, the water, for the first time. So it's kept in here for 2 hours at 62 degrees Celsius. Now, what happens in here is all the nutrients and starches from the barley get transferred into the water. So all the goodness goes into the water. We keep it in here at 62 degrees Celsius. That's why we have hot and cold water. If it goes any higher, we have the cold water. If it goes lower, we have the hot. So constant temperature is the best for transferring all the nutrients. So it leaves here, and it's the exact same as porridge at this stage. You know that kind of thick substance like that at this stage. It goes into the cave. And the cave is a Dublin word for a sieve. Basically, it's a big filter. You would have seen the cave just down there before you came up to me. So the porridge-like material comes into the cave and spends 6 hours in here. Now what happens is, you see the two arms here, they just spin around the whole time, separating the solids from the liquids. So at the end of the 6 hours, this is all done, and the liquid is drained out, and it's called wort at this stage, W-O-R-T. It's really, really dark and very strong brewed sugars. It's about 80 to 90% sugar at this stage. So the barley that's left behind is now called spent barley. Nothing in the Guinness process is wasted. So what we actually do is we sell the spent barley on to farmers for animal feed or pig feed. So back to the wort. It comes along and goes to the kettle. Now if the kettle is being cleaned or still in use from a previous brew, it goes to the upper back. The upper back is just a storage vessel. Nothing is added, nothing is taken away. So it's not really an important part of the brewing process. So we move on there. So the wort goes into the kettle. The kettles we use are just like the ones behind you there, except we no longer use copper kettles. We use stainless steel, purely because they're easier to clean and they don't rust. And they actually quicken up the whole brewing process as well. So the kettle is where we add the hops for the first time. We put the hops in and we mix it with the wort. We boil it at 105 degrees Celsius for about 80 to 90 minutes. Now it's really, really strong flavours at this stage. Sometimes you walk around Guinness where you get a smell in the air. It's this stage you're smelling really strong flavours. So it leaves here after the 80 minutes. It goes through a series of coolers. It's brought down to 25 degrees Celsius. Then it goes to the FBP. Now the FBP is short for fermentation and brewing plant. Now the fermentation vessel, the brew goes into a fermentation vessel, just like the one behind you there, about the same size. When you go upstairs, you're going to see how big the vessels actually are. But again, we don't use wood anymore. We use stainless steel for the aforementioned reasons. So this is where we have the fourth ingredient, the yeast. The yeast is amazing. We were seeing it down below. It actually feeds on all the sugars and starches and turns it into alcohol. So it's my best friend. So after about 2 days, it's all turned into alcohol at this stage. Now, we moved the yeast by what we call centrifuge. You would have heard of centrifugal force. Basically, the vessels get spun around really fast and the yeast gets stuck to the side. And we drain out the brew, and we actually don't waste the yeast. We use a bit of it again in the next brew, but we can actually sell the yeast out to food production companies. I'm sure you see a Marmite or Vegemite, and you see the yeast extract, and that's where it actually comes from. So the brew then goes into maturation vessels, just like the one around to the left there, and after 60 to 65 hours, it's now Guinness. So this whole process takes 8 days. Results in about 5,000 kegs, and each keg is about 90 pints. So I'm not going to do the maths on that, but it's quite a lot. So the brewery itself brews over 1 billion pints of Guinness a year. So you can get an idea of how many of these we do. So guys, from here you're going to see the fermentation process, and upstairs it's a taste area we get a sample of Guinness. So enjoy that. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask.
Thank you. Thanks.